Yeah, so I'm gonna do a video. Yes, need to upload. Yeah, so hi Terence and Beth. Yeah, Terence is still sleeping, so I'll just do this video. I have a girlfriend for 2 years now. I've been visited her once, and now we're having a long distance relationship, and I'm planning to be there on December 2026, 2025, and then she is asking if we could build a house so that when I arrive there, we will not be staying on her parents' house. She's asking 250,000 to build a semi-hollow block house for Amakan and hollow block. Since you're building houses, what is your thought? Yeah, so 250,000 depending, sir. Depending on where location you are, you know, if your girlfriend is in the province, then that's another thing to consider. But if your girlfriend is in the city, it's quite the difference, you know, the difference in the materials, you know, the difference in materials. Although I don't have an experience about the city, but it just happened that if your girlfriend lives in the province, of course it might be that they have coconut that can be used, or they got some wood to be used, you know, to build on the roofing, you know, and at the same time on the body on the house, you know, so that will save if they have their own trees, if they have their own coconut trees or any kind of trees that they can use, you know. And at the same time, if your girlfriend has a family and there is some brother, the brother can help, although they need to pay, you know, but it's a kind of different story, you know. 250,000, I think it's you can build a hollow block on that, you know, quite not big, not quite big, but it's already modest to live, maybe 2 bedrooms with a bathroom, you know, out of the 250,000, you know. And can be corrugated iron, but depending on the materials that you're gonna do, you know, because if it's just half hollow block, for example, 4 hollow blocks, 5 hollow blocks, and then wood, and then corrugated iron, 250,000 is quite big on that already, you know. So but if your wife, as I said, depending on where's the locations of your wife, you know. But materials now are quite expensive. The labor now, I remember when we do this house, our labor the time is 500 pesos a day, right? 500 pesos no, the the carpenter is 500 pesos a day, and then the labor is 300 or 350, and then pre snacks. But now we got some guys the other day, a few months ago, to do our ceiling. It's 700, you know, it's 700 the carpenter, and I said, how about 600, you know, free snacks, and they said okay, you know. And then we got another labor which is 500, you know. So because they talk about that the other one is carpenter, can do both labor and carpenter. So I said okay, do it, let's do it. But I found out that it's 700 now because things are going up, you know, prices are going up, salaries is going up, you know. So 250,000, depending on what size of houses that you're gonna do, and at the same time the logistic, because it might be that the house of your wife is there's no the delivery truck cannot go in to deliver the material. So that's another thing that you need to consider, because carrying the materials from one place by the person carrying to the area where you're gonna build the house is another thing, because that's another labor that you're going to pay every day, right? Carrying the gravel, the sand, the cement, the rebar, the corrugated iron, the wood, you know. But if the place is accessible by the delivery truck, then it's a big help, because you don't need an extra labor expenses to carrying those materials to the area. So that's another thing that you also considered. But I think 250,000 is quite big, or might be enough, but depending on the size and depending on the materials that your wife or your girlfriend gonna use. If your girlfriend is thinking to build 3 bedrooms with a corrugated iron, color up. We call it the color up, the good one, the good quality. We're using color up, and we buy it in Tagbilaran, which is 1,000 pesos for the length. I think 10 by 10 length, or 8 length, so something like that. And at the same time, depending on if your girlfriend is using metal, metal, because that's quite expensive, so all you need to do is when you send money to your girlfriend, just ask for the receipt. Just ask for the receipt, and so that you have an idea so that you have an idea where's the money go and what are the materials that your girlfriend is using. If that's if you and your girlfriend is already if you have a full trust with your girlfriend. So I think you have a little doubt because you're asking the question, but as I said, sir, depending on the logistic, depending on the materials, depending on the locations of your girlfriend, if the materials can be dropped right at the place where your girlfriend gonna build a house. But I'll suggest, and I always say this in the video, I'll suggest to whoever expat gonna come to the Philippines, before you build a house or before you buy a property, try to rent first, because you might change your mind. You might change your mind that, oh, I don't want to retire here, I want to retire to the next island. Like for example, you arrive here with your girlfriend in Bohol. Your girlfriend lives in Bohol, and then later on you just realize that, oh, the medical here in Bohol is quite far and I need medical care. The mall here, I cannot find what I need, so I just prepared to be in the city. So, and you already built a house here, so that's another thing that you need to consider, because you need to sell all your properties that you already put up, you already invested. So that's why I prepared. That's what my advice is to whoever gonna come here is, before you build a house, before you buy any properties, before you do any investment, is try to live here, rent first, and then later on, when you already fully decided that, oh, I wanted to live here, then that's where you start building your dream, building your house here. Because we've known some expat that right away, when they arrive here with their wife or their girlfriend or their partner, they buy right away a farm, quite big farm. Um, put some build up some farming. And then later on, when they broke up with their girlfriend, so the problem is selling it, disposing the property to divide it. So that's another thing that you need to also to consider. But as I said, your question is if it's 250,000 is enough or quite expensive. My answer is, it might be, but as I said, depending on what kind of materials and locations your girlfriend located. So have a great day. Thank you so much. So if you got the 250,000, I suggest build a cement house. Build a cement house, because it's the longevity of the house. Because the wood can be there's a span of time. Especially if you're using coconut trees that is not the coconut trees. Although using coconut trees for the frame is okay, then as long as it's already an old coconut trees. So have a great day. Thank you so much, and God bless. Bye bye.